Hey, everybody. It's December.
It
Jeremy,
is. It
welcome
is.
in.
We made it almost all the way through 2024.
Yeah, I we've been chit-chatting a little bit before we hit record and talking about time, and it just seems to me like, oh, December's out of ways, the holidays are out of ways, and we're right in the middle of it.
Yeah.
That's all I got. Okay, goodbye,
Right.
everyone.
Yeah, bye-bye. Happy New Year. Yep. That's kind of how it
Oh,
feels. I don't know about you, but the dragon has kicked my ass. It really has.
mhm,
This has
me
been
too.
and, from what I've heard, it's been a difficult year for so many people.
Mhm.
Usually, I'll get half and half. Some people are having a great year, some people are having a crappy year, and most of the people that I've talked to have had a really difficult time this year.
Yeah, I can concur. Although, like, I look at people in my house here, some of them are having a really wonderful year. Well,
Yeah.
my double dragon husband, for instance, but then but then some others are not so much. And
Yeah.
I think that's one thing I'm really getting out of living in this house with 7 people is I have lots of comparisons. I have lots of
Yeah.
charts to look at, like what's
Yeah.
happening this month and is this making sense? And even November was a sucker punch
Oh,
to
yeah.
some folks. And I'm sorry if you're out there
I
and you got it because I it's no joke,
No.
the energy that we're living in right now. And we hope that we're offering some clarity or humor or
Yeah.
support in getting you through this these
Yeah.
days.
Mhm.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, and that's why you find us laughing so much. Because if we don't laugh, we'll cry,
mhm.
and nobody wants to see that, so
I am such an ugly crier. It's like
I am too.
it's gross. It's like I'm so embarrassed. I cover my face. I have to leave the room. It's not. No, I always
Oh,
like but look at people who can cry and still just look cute or pretty, and it's like,
mhm.
how do you did you practice that? How does
Yeah,
that work?
yeah.
But
Did you look in the mirror while you were crying to practice that? Are you an actor?
so hopefully there won't be many more tears to shed,
Yeah.
for the rest of the year. Now, when I say the rest of the year, I'm thinking February 3rd will
Mhm.
be the end of the Chinese year, but the end
Yes.
of the Western year, of course, we know is going to be December 30th.
Mhm.
Um, so let's just talk about December. We'll have lots to talk about in January and February
Yeah.
as we approach the new energy next year.
Mhm.
And if you're listening to this, the Chinese New Year event is on. It is January 24th and 25th. So mark your calendar if you
Yay.
haven't already. Tickets are going to go on sale the first part of January. So don't forget that. I want to see you
Awesome.
there because there's a lot of intense energy coming next year.
Yeah. Yep. And
So
when can we get your cure kits? After the Chinese New Year?
you can, when you pay for the Chinese New Year tickets, the Cure Kit
Mhm.
comes with it.
Okay.
However, if you want to order one now because you're buying for a friend or a stocking stuffer, they're on my Etsy page and I'll put the link down below. They're ready to go. Already shipping them out.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's
They
really
make
exciting.
they make really good Christmas gifts.
They really, really do.
They
Because
do.
it's an educational piece and it's such an interactive thing. It really gets
Mhm.
you in touch with the energies.
Yep. Love it.
Uh, Thank you for that. And thanks for your help with putting those together.
Oh my gosh. Well, for those of you that don't know, I had heart surgery at the end of October, so I've been sitting on my ass for a whole month. And Tina goes, "Hey, do you wanna fold these things?" And I was like, "Please. I'm so bored. Please." So, yeah, that was no problem. It was
Yeah, I
easy.
appreciate your help. Okay, let's dive into December. Where do you want to start?
Oh my god. It's the young fire rat, everybody. Oh
Mhm.
my gosh, this is intense energy. And, I've heard you say before that usually during the year, when we're looking for that young fire element, this is when we're going to see a lot of explosive things happen for the whole year, right?
Mhm.
So it's one of those things where we've been building up to December all year long. So young fire is very unpredictable. And for the little sweet rat, rats are nervous and they are
Mhm.
constantly trying to strategize. They don't like the ugly surprise. And
No.
that's what young fire does. It's very combustible and it's very explosive and unpredictable.
Yeah. The rat is a water animal. That's its master element. And then you have yang fire, kind of coming in side by side with that. Those are
Yeah,
conflicting energies.
very.
So, how is conflict, how is clashing, how is opposition, duality, polarity, facing off going to show up for
Mhm.
you?
Yeah.
Sure, we can turn on the news and see it and be triggered by all that stuff.
Mhm.
But I feel like the biggest gift that we can get out of a clash like this, because yang fire is the heat of the day, it's the bright sun, it's everything's lit up. Where the rat is in the darkness, it's cold, it's wet, it's like you said, it's nervous and fearful. Fire wants everything out in the open. So how are you going to show up in life, in a relationship for the day and navigate that polarity or that duality? It's not to attack the opposite and try to put it out or to take the flame away or
Mhm.
to belittle or point fingers at. How can opposition come together? Because my visual that I have for this is when the volcano lava is floating down and it reaches the sea, the water, and you get
Mhm.
steam, which is energy, which is motivation, acceleration. Let's go. Let's create.
Mhm.
I it's going to be an interesting year. I don't personally know how I'm going to navigate it because I have a horse in my chart, which is opposite. You have the rat in your chart. So you
I
and
do
I are
have
kind of
that.
those
Yeah.
that polarity, aren't we?
Yeah, and the cool thing about the rat is the thinker of the zodiac. It's constantly strategizing. So, taking everything that you just said about that steam that's generated when you put equal parts water and equal parts fire together, the rat can strategize where it can go to find that steam, to find that motivation, but it can
Mhm.
also strategize when to avoid those conflicts, right?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
using the
Mhm.
power of the rat this month is going to be so important for us to avoid the situations that we have the power to avoid. It's a
Mhm.
choice. We can
Exactly.
choose to avoid those things. If the things that are unavoidable, we can use the energy of that intellect of the rat and strategize, okay, here's the right moment when those two elements are going to join together and I can really step into
Mhm.
that energy
Mhm.
in a positive way.
Yeah. However, if you're meeting up with somebody or another group of energy that is wanting to oppose you and wanting to challenge you, then
Mhm.
that's what you're saying. The rat needs to make a decision on the spot. This isn't safe.
I'm
I'm
out
not
or I'm
coming
in.
out. Yep. I'm not coming out to play. I'll be
Yeah.
fully exposed. I'll be vulnerable.
Yeah.
So check your vulnerabilities and listen to that
Yes,
and
exactly.
and trust that because that's what the rat is here to teach us is our own vulnerabilities. Um,
Well, yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say one of the other components that we've got going on in the Western world this month is Mercury retrograde in the fiery sign of Sagittarius, and Sagittarius shoots
Oh.
from the hip. It's got foot and
Mm,
mouth syndrome. It speaks before it thinks. And so Sagittarius is spending a lot of time trying to do the soft shoe and either
mhm.
tap around the subject or backpedal and try to take back what they said. So
Interesting.
that energy is gonna be still out there until December 14th when things will start to calm down. So the first
Okay.
half of the month, You've really gotta channel that rat to really
Mm,
decide, "Do I
mhm.
wanna be in this conflict or do I not want to be? Is this something that I can choose to avoid?" And it's wise to do that. It's wise
Yeah.
to do that for your own health and your own mental health,
Mhm.
um, to just avoid those situations.
I agree. Now, every December is a rat month. It's not always a fire rat month, but it's always a rat month.
Yeah,
So, how is December's for you? What's that like? Is it something you dread? Is it something you look forward to? Look back at your calendar, your journal,
yeah,
and track December's
yeah,
because if it's pushing you too far, if it's overextending you, then you might need to stay home, stay in your hole and play it safe. And
yeah,
use those pick a different holiday to celebrate if the December energy is too much.
exactly. And then you can look at your chart and look at your 4 animals and all 4 of your pillars to see, "Hey, is there a reason why I hate the freaking holidays?" Well, there is for
Mhm.
me. I
Mhm.
have I struggle
Please.
every November because I have a snake, which is a clash with the pig of November. Well,
Mhm.
I also have a rat in my chart, and the rat struggles with my rabbit. So,
Mm.
you can always kind of look at each month and look to the animals of that month and then look to your own chart to see how that energy vibes with you.
Yeah.
Are there months that you prefer over other months? Well, there's a reason why.
Oh, totally. But you and I have talked about this before. This is such an interesting time of the year to me because the rat is actually the first animal of the zodiac wheel,
Yeah.
meaning it's the initiator, it's the
Mhm,
starter, it has the idea, it's let's get going. And
mhm.
so we kind of get ramped up a little bit in December, right? We dream big. We kind of forget how much money's not in the bank account. We kind of overexpend on things. And we're
Mhm.
thinking about our New Year's resolution and what we're going to do next year and harness that energy. And all I can say is do all that,
Mhm.
but don't expect anything in January
No.
because
No. No.
January
Nope.
is ruled by the ox, and the ox is standing there going, "I'm not budging.
Yeah.
I'm not
Talk about
changing."
slamming on the brakes.
Yeah. So there goes your resolution, there goes your idea of what you wanted to do. Let it sit. Just let
Yeah.
it sit for
Pause.
January. Don't put pressure on yourself and wait
Mm-mm.
till February. It's the
Yeah.
tiger month, it's spring, it's leaping forward, taking action, being assertive, and going after
Yeah.
what you want.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, because
'Cause
I've always thought, for years for 25 years, I was a hairstylist, and I would always think to myself, "Why in the hell is the busiest month of the year, the month that I'm exhausted, I really wanna take some
Mm,
time off, but people wanted to get their hair done for the holidays because they were
yeah,
having photos and seeing their family and everything." And
right.
I always thought that was weird because in the wintertime here in the United States, wintertime sets upon us, and it's the time to start going to sleep and to
Mhm,
rest a little bit. But December, man, that rat gets all riled up and starts planning and strategizing for the year ahead. That's
mhm.
why the holidays are so December is so charged. It's such
Yeah.
a charged energy. So then
Mm.
when we get to January, that ox is like, "Go to bed, slam on the brakes." And we're like, "Why is January such a drag?" Well, it's not a drag to a lot of
Mm,
people, especially if you
mm,
have an ox in your chart, right?
yeah,
This is the
mhm.
natural energy to slow down and take your time, so, yeah. We're kind
So
of
is
covering all of the animals
I
this
know.
episode. I hope people aren't too confused.
Well, it just goes to show you, just like the Western astrology, I'm not just an Aries,
Mhm,
and I'm not just the 4 animals in my chart. I'm also
right.
the luck pillar that I'm in for the 10 years. I'm also
Mhm,
influenced by the animal of the year or of the month or of the
yeah,
day.
yeah,
So, we're just energy.
mhm,
This is my shape of energy, and I'm constantly being bombarded and bumping into and absorbing and emitting frequency. And so it's
yeah,
just understanding the frequencies of the energy that's outside of us and that can influence the inside of us body, mind, soul, and spirit. And so we're everything, not all at once,
Yeah,
but we are everything.
absolutely. I love
So,
it.
any animals you want to talk about who might be struggling this month?
Well, I mentioned it before. I have a
The
rabbit in
rabbit.
my chart,
Mhm.
and the rabbit and the rat, they have this what's called a penalty, and it's the penalty of unkindness. These two can kind of bicker a little bit and kind
Mhm.
of have a sharp tongue. And so it's kind of going back to that Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius energy. It's like thinking before or speaking before you're thinking. And
Mm.
so I've always had this incredible urge during the month of December to just say the things that really are on my mind because I get a little bit pissed off during this time of year.
Okay.
So, if you have a rabbit in your chart, just know that you really need to think before you speak. But also, there's a flip side to that as well. Having this in your chart can also make you vulnerable to other people treating you that way as well.
Mhm.
So, being aware and open to, shutting conversations down that are going to be, kind of attacking energy.
Mhm. And if you're surrounded by people who are impolite or, lack manners, they're nasty, maybe it's like reevaluating that. Is that energy
Mm,
you want to take into next year? Because
yeah,
rabbits have a tendency to be just sweet and nurturing. Oh, they're good at the soul. They have a great light. Not everybody shows up like that,
right.
and it's okay.
It is.
Yeah, I agree. The rabbit's gonna, and I think the horse too. However,
Yeah,
the
talk about
fire
the
of the
horse.
yeah, the fire of the month though might really strengthen the horse, where the
Mm,
horse
yeah,
may not get as spooked by the rat as as normal. And the reason I'm saying that is because the horse is a fire animal. That's its
yeah,
master element. And so with the yang fire coming in of the month, it could make the horse more reactive, though. It could create more anxiety and more like f- freaking out.
mhm,
So, as a horse person, born the year of the horse, that's my life path. That's how I connect socially, manifest
mhm,
outwardly in the world. Is to not, I'm going to be on guard, not to overreact and
yeah,
freak out about the little things, like the little
yeah.
rats, scurrying around. Any other animals you want to talk about?
Though that was the one I wanted to talk about. There are a few more that might be in it this year or this month.
Hmm.
I'm just
The
trying to
ox
get
is the
some.
secret friend, with the rat.
Yeah,
So, if you do have an ox in your chart, perhaps you'll just feel like a sense of like support. Maybe you can't
mhm,
really pinpoint where it's coming from, or it could actually be somebody showing up with some ideas, thinking things through, and they just kind of need your ox is kind of known as being the physical animal. It's very hardworking. So if somebody asks for your help this month, this is a great opportunity for you to pitch in, and step in and do that kind of thing because you're getting support, you'll get recognition because of it, and financial harmony because of it. You may not get
mhm,
paid for it, but it's all part of that energy exchange.
yeah. Yep. The sheep might be struggling a little bit this month too.
Mhm.
It's what we call a damage, and that represents misfortune, injury, and illness. So, sheep, if you're feeling a little bit tired and you're thinking that you want to go to the holiday celebration, but you're a little bit worried because you've got a sore throat, just stay home.
Mhm.
Just lay low.
Yeah. That's tough for sheep.
I
But
know because they want to be with people. They want to
yeah.
be part of the group, part of the
Mhm.
flock, right?
Yeah. And lastly, I would say if you're a rooster, if you have rooster in your chart, this may not be the best time to gather with people. Of
Mhm.
course, the position of the rooster in your chart is going to dictate kind of who you want to
Yeah.
create space from. But
Mhm.
just and when I say space, it's just it could be geographical space, energetic space, giving them space, creating space that you have just because the rooster and the rat to me are very similar in the sense that they're super intellectual, really overthinking sometimes. And I don't know, with this environment we live in now, with the conversations, especially around the holidays, it just feels like a lot, especially for
Yeah.
people around you.
Yeah, for sure.
Rooster can handle it, but I don't know about the people around you.
Yeah. Yeah, roosters can pretty much handle a lot of things, so
Mhm.
but yeah, the rat this rat month is gonna be interesting. I'm really interested to see what happens, especially with all of that fire. Like we said before, this tends to be a pretty action-packed month during the month of Yang fire, so just be
Mhm.
aware of that.
Yeah.
You're probably gonna see a lot of things on the news and, out there in the world and a lot of political things going on this month, so that's just par for the course for the month. We can
Mhm.
just already expect that.
Yeah.
So, but the rat gets to choose. Are you gonna watch? Are you
Nope,
gonna
I'm not
go
watching
into it? Are
anymore.
you gonna go into the anxiety and the fear that the rat feels a lot of the time
Mhm.
just naturally? Or are you going to avoid that and just go down a different path?
Yeah. Take the alley. Take the
Yeah,
back
take
road.
that out.
It's safer. It's dark
Get out
back
of
there. Nobody will see you.
there.
Are you gonna pull a card for us?
Yes,
Sweet.
I
Well,
am.
while you're shuffling, we just wish everybody a safe and happy whatever you do for the month.
Yeah,
We won't
whatever
be talking
holiday.
to you again until the Western New Year. So just
Yeah,
be safe out there. Be kind to yourself. Rest.
mhm.
Don't party too hard. Just balance in life.
Yes, and before I showed the card, I wanted to mention that, me and Tina both have trainings coming up for 2025, so be
Mhm.
watching your emails, be watching social media. Cosmic Fusion starts the first week in January, so I'm gonna
Oh,
be
wow.
sending out a lot of emails and a lot of social media posts, so if you'd like to find out how you can learn Chinese and Western astrology and in kind of a fused way, let me know. We're
Yeah.
here.
Great. Amazing. Glad you threw that in there. Yeah, because I have a
Yes,
training coming up February 1st, a 6-month feng shui training program.
yes.
So
Please take it,
that's a
people.
doozy.
Take
Yeah.
it. Take
Take
it.
yours.
It's so good. It's so good. Okay, and with that in mind, this is the
Mhm.
card. It's the 9 of Earth, enjoying
Okay.
life's luxuries. 9 is a number that is
Mm.
completion, okay? So,
Okay.
it's kind of going along with December being the last month of the Western year, right? So, what you can do with the 9 of Earth is Earth is that grounding element that really helps us keep our feet on the ground.
Mm.
So anytime we find the conflict between the fire and the water, when we go to Earth, we can kind of ground ourselves in that conflict.
Mm. I love
And
that.
we can also take a little time to look around at your life and what is working rather than what is not working. Enjoy the things that are working and be grateful for those things. Have
Mm.
gratitude because the more gratitude you have, the more is coming towards you in a positive
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. And we're open for readings. This is an amazing time to
Oh
get
my
an
gosh,
update
it's the best
reading or a
time.
new if you've never had a reading, this is a great time because we can pull in the energy of next year and talk about that too in your reading. So this
Yeah.
is our time. This is when we are
Yeah.
on. I mean, we're on all the time, but
Yeah.
this is we're chomping at the bit right now because we're just
Mhm.
consuming as much as we can and wanting to share as much as we can so that everybody feels prepared and supported and
Yes.
loved and all of that. So
Yes.
thank you for being here, everybody.
Yes.
Yeah, comment below, reach out to us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Have a good month.
Bye bye.